All right, Vancouver Canucks fans, this clip you're going to hear about Nils Hoglander is from our latest episode of Locked On Canucks. If you want to check out the full episode, check out our shorts, whatever else we got going on, make sure you go subscribe to our page on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Nils Hoglander Talk coming up now, baby.
Okay, you're back on another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. More importantly, that right there is Trevor Beggs. But even more important than that, this is the show that gives you your Canucks every day. Like the show and subscribe if you did enjoy the episode. If you didn't, I know we are all Canucks, but don't do the things I just said, okay? Don't lie to yourself again. I know we're all Canucks, but you can save the world with one less lie at a time. And I wasn't lying. I wasn't lying when I said I stopped watching Suits because I started getting soft, you know? I started getting soft. I went through a time in my life where I loved being cold-blooded, okay? Especially towards romance and love and the opposite sex, okay? Again, if you're new to the show, my girlfriend of 5 years left me for a girl, okay? So you can only imagine what that did to me. And again, I liked being cold, and as soon as I started, I was like, oh, this character in Suits is cool. Yo, she's dope. She's a strong character. She's beautiful. Like, yo, I started getting a little soft. I stopped watching the show. Couldn't do it because I want to remain hard. Why is that relevant to any of this? Okay.
How did that work out for you?
How did it work out? What do you mean? Like, it worked out perfect, man. Look where it brought me.
Did you okay, so you remained hard. Okay, good.
I remained hard, man. I remained hard until, it was love at first sight. For real. Anyway, speaking of hard, Nils Hoglander, man, that guy plays really hard. Sometimes he plays a little dirty too. That play he made last night against LeBanc. I mean, if there's an injury there, like a big time injury, if there's a little bit of blood, there's a suspension. It's just the truth. I don't think he's getting that. I think he's going to get a bit of a fine. I'm also going to say I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all that this is a part of Nils Hoglander's game every once in a while because, again, he's hard all the time. He's a dog. He's gritty. He's intense. He's also very skilled and very quick. I've used this word a couple of times, but I like having these guys on the team. Like, he's an outlier type of player, and he's still young. He's just getting started. And I think the Canucks, because I saw this yesterday on a couple tweets, and I think, I forgot who it was, but somebody named like a podcast episode with this as the title, right? Like, Hoglander could be available for trade, right? Like, he's the big chip that they could trade for a potential defenseman to help this core out. I just don't like that. This is not the year to play the rental game if it involves trading Nils Hoglander.
Yeah, and this is kind of veering from Hoglander a bit, but the more and more I think about it, I do wonder if re-signing Ethan Bear is really just the best option for this team. Get the guy on a cheap deal, give him some bonuses, get that cap hit down nice and low. He's already proven he could fit in with this team, and then you don't have to give up any assets because, Kyle, you mentioned off the top, like, there's this argument that when Pius Suter comes back, you got to take, Hoglander out because why would you take Beauvillier out, who's the other fairly obvious candidate? Because if you want to trade the guy, you can't help but scratch him. What are you trading Anthony Beauvillier for right now? He was a throw-in already in one trade. Anthony Beauvillier ain't going to net you much. He's the kind of guy that you're going to have to attach something to get rid of.
Even with 1 year left on his deal, even with him just being a UFA, you still think that's going to be the case? I guess this early on,
I think, based on how he's played so far, and I think other GMs around the league, pro scouts, I don't think he's really impressed anybody. Like, why are you giving up assets for Anthony Beauvillier? He's like another, not to say he's a bad player, but he's just another undersized winger in a league where it's so hard to trade wingers right now with everyone being capped out.
Yeah.
So I think the Canucks, again, can't be making decisions based on, trying to trade this guy because I don't think he's proven enough to kind of put himself in that situation where he's a valuable asset. But I agree with you to the extent that I wouldn't be trading Hoglander either because, again, it's right now when things are going so well, and not even just things going well. I think the bottom six is playing extremely well right now.
Mm-hmm.
That bottom line with Hoglander and Lafferty, they're showing chemistry. The third line with Joshua and Garland, whether it's Suter or Blue Grit Center, like they're showing chemistry. They're making things happen. But Hoglander in particular, let me throw a couple numbers at you. Over the last 12 games, Nils Hoglander has been on the ice for 8 goals for and only 1 goal against at even strength.
Yeah.
He's been on the ice for an even strength goal in 7 of the last 12 games.
Dude,
Nils Hoglander, he's making things happen when he's on the ice. This isn't just a fluke that he's out there for all these goals. He's making things happen. He's doing so on the goddamn fourth line.
Bro, he did it a couple years ago when he broke in with the NHL. He also showed it last year in the AHL when he got sent down, and now he's showing it again this year early on in the NHL. Like, when he's on the ice, he makes things happen, and dude, he's doing it with speed, tenacity, skill, and confidence, man. And I want that guy on my team in general. And, we brought up PDG's name a couple times over the last couple of weeks when it comes to, value contracts going into next season. Nils Hoglander is signed next season, like, this is still, I wouldn't say like a developmental stage for the Vancouver Canucks, but like finding success, generating wins, it's still a process. It's not something that's culturally ingrained in this team. Like, it's been 20 games. It's just going to be easier when you have a lot of value contracts, and next season still matters too, right? I know I'm looking ahead of myself, but just having that type of deal on your team with that type of player and still room to grow is just too exciting. There's so much more to Nils Hoglander's game. And to bring him back to Beauvillier, I will note that, you've mentioned it, the bottom six has played really well. You could argue that the bottom six collectively has played better than the top line, 5-on-5, right? When it comes to generating chances, 5-on-5, just being confident, playing a simpler game. Beauvillier is a part of that. He's been playing quicker. He has been playing quicker. He's been getting a couple more chances, but I don't think he's outchancing Nils Hoglander. And I don't want to put the dirty play on a pedestal, but we've seen it all season. The Canucks don't have a lot of bite. I've said that. There's not a lot of scrums happening. There's not a lot of POSs on the Vancouver Canucks all season long. I don't know. I don't care what team it is. Most of the time, they're just pissed off at Nils Hoglander. And you know what would piss them off even more, get them off their game, if this guy was actually making plays as well. I think he brings something different to this team, and they need to lean on that and not be scared of Beauvillier being a diminishing asset that they can no longer put in a trade. You brought up a great point. Like, it's one season at a time. Next season is important to me as well. We can't just go all in for the rental market. Maybe the best move and the only move the Vancouver Canucks could make or should make is Ethan Bear.
Yeah. And again, we're not privy to whatever else is going on, but it just seems like the easiest move to make right now. Again, get this guy on a league minimum deal, give him some easy bonuses to hit, and bolster that blue line, because that's the biggest area of need on the team right now. Yeah, Nils Hoglander, shout out to him. He's kind of, again, reinvented this game a bit, like you said, Kyle. He came into the league looking like more of a top six or bust piece, and I don't think you or I feel that way anymore. I don't think Canuck fans feel that way anymore, because he's making it happen in the fourth line by providing offense, but also bringing some grit and tenacity that's bit unexpected. Although I will say, if you watched him in the AHL last year, you kind of saw this coming a bit.
And bro, I feel as if I remember seeing like a dirty play from. The dirtiness is not something that we should be promoting, but again, West Coast bias. Sometimes I like it, man. Sometimes I like it, okay? I'm going to be honest, because this guy's on my team. Other guys are doing it on other teams, Boom, bam, it happens, right? It happens. I hope that he's able to clean it up when it comes to being dirty and just play a physical game and a POS game the right way, the hockey way, okay? But we've seen it even in the World Juniors or something. I remember him just decking somebody. There's something different about this guy, man. Some X Factor-ish, and I do think he's a top six player eventually down the road. That's what he's like, so untapped. He's so untapped, man. A lot of things going his way. I was going to say another thing too, but I forgot my point, man. Let's go on to the other side, man. Unless you got anything else to say.
That's all right.
My point's this. Sorry, I know we got to get out of here. I said don't trade him. Trevor Beck said don't trade him as well. But if there's a way that and Alvin and company can muster up a trade where they're getting a defenseman that they can sign long-term and have be part of the core for a while and who is also good, then you got to make a hockey trade. Don't make a rental trade with Nils Hoglander. You got to make a hockey trade and win that trade.
Yeah, that's a fair point, although I'll point out you said and Alvin and not Rutherford and Alvin. Jim thing lives in your subconscious,
I'm bleeping that out.
Okay,
I'm bleeping that out.
All right. On the final segment of Locked On Canucks, your team every day, we're going to hand out our weekly winner of the Cam Neely Former Canuck of the Week award. Before we do that,